Happening right now in Delphi, a court hearing is underway for Richard Allen. He is charged with murder in the deaths of Abby Williams and Libby German. Our Bob Siegel's been in the courtroom in Delphi all morning, and he joins us now live. Bob, what have you learned so far?
Gina, we've got a lot to cover from the first 2 hours of this hearing. We're on a lunch break right now. Let me start by saying the biggest thing that is happening here today is what is not happening. We expected there to be a suppression hearing on ballistics evidence about an unspent bullet that was found at the crime scene and whether that should be admissible in court. We expected that to be the focus of today's hearing, but Judge Fran Gall decided that that is going to be rescheduled for a different day. So for the time being, that important decision is put on hold. So the focus now today has been on whether or not Richard Allen should remain in a state maximum security prison. His defense attorney, Brad Rosie, spent the morning trying to lay out a very compelling case for why keeping Richard Allen in a maximum security prison is not only having a huge impact in his deteriorating health, but also it's really preventing the defense from being able to effectively be able to prepare a case for trial. So some of the witnesses I can tell you we heard from today, we heard from an intern that works with the defense team. He explained just how crazy difficult it's been getting in and out of the Westfield maximum security prison. He described how Richard Allen is essentially led through that prison. He described in his word as a dog, that he is on a chain leash when he is paraded through the halls, as they described it, with chains on his feet and his hands in chains as well, that when they try to meet with him to talk about their defense, that those meetings have been videotaped by the Westfield Correctional Facility. We heard from Captain Gary Lewis. He oversees the maximum security unit at Westville, and he said that to the best of his knowledge, in the 5 years that he has been there in that unit, Richard Allen is the only pre-trial defendant to ever be housed there. And the defense basically explained how things are much different in county jails where it is much easier to get access. And they said that because of the conditions that Richard Allen is in at the Westfield Correctional Facility, he has deteriorated so much that he's not even really able to help in his own defense right now. So the defense said that they had worked out an agreement for Richard Allen to be moved to the Cass County Jail, which is only about 20 minutes away from here. We heard from the sheriff in Cass County, and he said in his words, when it comes to Richard Allen, we don't want him. But he said that if the court orders them to take Richard Allen, the sheriff said that they would be able to, in their words, house him securely, and that they would be willing to do that. So we have heard this morning from the defense and the reasons why they don't believe that Richard Allen should remain in a state maximum security prison. They want him moved closer here to Carroll County. This afternoon, we will hear the prosecutor explain why they feel differently. Now, a couple other really important notes to pass along here. Both the prosecutor and the defense this morning referred to incriminating statements that Richard Allen made in prison, essentially a confession of sorts. The defense team, and by the way, we haven't heard much more about that other than passing references to it. The defense pointed out that whatever was said was very general and very inconsistent with Richard Allen's previous comments. We expect to hear more about that this afternoon. Also, we want to pass along that Judge Gall announced that she is going to unseal lots of documents that are currently still kept under seal in this case, and that is going to come next week. I'll point out, Richard Allen, I was sitting inches away from him when he walked in and out of court this morning. He does not look like the Richard Allen that we saw months ago. He is looking incredibly frail. He has lost a tremendous amount of weight. He was being held on both sides by police officers escorting him in, and at one point he actually shook back and forth, and it prompted one of the officers to come up and hold him more tightly by the arm. He does look shaky and he does look very frail, and that is part of the defense's argument here about the fact that where he is currently being held, he has deteriorated so much that he is not able to help in his own defense. We're going to have a lot more information to share here this afternoon. Right now, we're on a short break for a lunch recess, and we will be back in court in just a few minutes. We will have much more and what comes out of this hearing this afternoon coming up on the news at 5 and at 6. Gina, back to you.
All right, Bob, critical intel from Delphi, Indiana, an evolving case. We'll see you at 5 o'clock. Thank you, Bob.